Such sacred inquiry is happening for all of us right now. What's happening in this world? How is this happening in our world? And what question that comes up in this inquiry that I've heard lately is, why would a two-state solution be even appropriate when Israel has occupied the land of Palestine? And I just want to offer a possible answer to that question. You need not agree with it. I am so open to your disagreeing. I'm open to your judgment, and I'm open to any possible thought you might have. And this is inquiry. So it's an offering. Humility from my heart. First, I just want to inquire for all of us, where are we sitting as we ask this question? As we look at this situation, where am I planted? Imagine how different this world would be, or how wonderful, if each of us took the plot of land on which we sit, this square 2 feet on which I sit, that is me, and clear it of all violence, clear it of all evil, clear it of all occupying forces. So I just want to ask first that we inquire into ourselves. Where are we? Am I in America? Am I sitting on stolen land? Am I not budging from a huge house that I own on land that was never mine? Is that where I am asking this question from? How dare you, Israel? How dare you? You are on land that was never even yours. Is that where I am judging from? So I would love for us all to just pause. Where am I sitting? And just be with yourself first, because far too easily, what we are seeing is not a flat mirror of reality. It has waves in it. And those waves are my own shame, my own guilt, my own judgment being projected upon another person, another people, another land. To try to disown it, to try to make it right, while I sit in the comfort of my complacency. Just check ourselves momentarily. It is uncomfortable to zoom out. We want reality to be black and white because it makes it easier. We want there to be an us and a them and a good and a bad, villains and heroes, victims. That's not reality. We want there to be a religion, a region, a people who are good and one that is bad. The truth is, in every single nationality, every single religion, every single people, there are very, very good people, and there are very, very misguided people. There are very, very power-hungry people. There is the government of the people, and there is the people. There are the extremists of the people, and there is the people. We don't want it to be this way, but so it is. It is this way. So let's zoom out, which is uncomfortable to do because it makes things more complex. Let's allow us to look at a people who was a wandering people, right? Whose land it was, this Judean land, that which we are celebrating, Jesus, his Jewish being living in Jerusalem, this was the land, right? This was the place. Then they were out wandering, many of them still in Palestine, but we were everywhere, the Jews, and we were wanderers and persecuted in many places where we went. There was never an actual place where we were allowed to have land, we were allowed to not be persecuted. So we just want to check in and see if we know that there are 50 states that are Muslim, predominantly Muslim states. Muslims are 26% of the world's population. And just check in if you happen to know how many states there are that are Jewish states, right? There were none. There were none. So now there is one, right? Israel. But before there were none. And so there was no haven for the persecution that would go on. So they would be exterminated. They would be sent away at a moment's notice. Watch Fiddler on the Roof, right? That's who the Jews were. Indigenous to Judea and also wandering and also persecuted and also almost exterminated from the earth in World War II, right? So we knew all this. And so we just want to take it into the heart. This is not justification for anything. These are just added facts. We get to hold the whole picture of truth. We get to open our mind and heart to seeing what is, rather than the duality we are fed, extreme duality. I just want to pause and notice that in Hollywood, in any movie, in any story, what is plot? Plot is conflict, right? Stories are conflict. Good stories, conflict. Social media wants you to be kept there, wants you to be fascinated. How are they going to bring the best stories that are going to engage you the most? Conflict. We are being fed a dual plot line, them versus them, villain versus victim. We are being fed this duality, this conflict, because it's good storytelling. Okay, so just no justification, just noticing what is true, what is real. Okay, so we want to look at Jews almost getting wiped off the planet. They are 0.5% now of the world's population. And we want to see how that happened, where, okay, there needs to be a Jewish state, right? There needs to be a space where they're not going to get eradicated from the earth's surface. So I just want to bring that to the council of humanity, which you are, right? I want to ask that question. Where are they to go? A world that works for everyone is where we must be headed. So even when we talk about indigenous peoples, right, in all of the land, if your picture of putting back all the indigenous people, your version of replacing them to their home, leaves out some people, I just want to notice that's not a peaceful way forward, because this earth is a homeland for us all, right? So there will be violence that way. We need to look at this earth and say, where does everyone fit? Considering considering where everybody belongs, and some of the beautiful land has more than one indigenous people, right? So we need to open up the complexity of reality and be willing to sit with it. There is not duality, my loves. There's an everythingness about it. There's an omnipresence here. So it means we have to open the heart wider in order to include it, this complexity. So where are they to go is a question, right? They're almost exterminated from the earth. In that moment, where do you put them? Where do you put them? Okay, so just check it out. Is your answer, well, they should be exterminated from the earth? That's a solution, right? The final solution in World War II. That was an idea, right? Is that your idea? Check out what's your idea to make a place for Jewish people to be safe. So that's how Israel happened, a need for homeland, and it was the place of their indigenous land that they went to. And I just want to notice, and we're seeing this now, how useful it is for the Western countries, the United States, for Israel to be there. So if we just consider them for a moment a pawn in the world of America, and own your Americanship if that's who you are. Sit in that seat. Israel is a democratic army in the middle of oil territory. And they're on the front lines. That democratic army of Israel has been called by Jesse Helms, the senator, America's aircraft carrier in the middle of the desert, right? So I just want you to pause again and notice that the Israeli army is a little bit your army, okay? It's not some separate thing that we can scapegoat so easily, like, what are they doing? Just want to pause. Notice what America does. Notice what we do. This is not about a people. This is about a government. This is about something that has been benefiting the citizens of America for a very long time. So if you are in judgment of it, slow down. Who am I? Where am I? What is my part, my existence, and my lifestyle playing in this scenario? That's our job. That's our job. So they were supported to be there. Do you think because we cared about Jews? So there was a lot of support for Israel to be created, and it was extremely needed. I personally am somebody who, from a mystical perspective of Judaism, has felt that it's not necessary for us to have a land, right? That's sort of idolatry, that the state of Zion, the state of actually being Israelites is something. It can be anywhere. It's the state of pure present consciousness, right? It's the state of unity in the world, and that it's not about land. And it is only as I got older, and honestly only in the wake of the silence of the world after the deaths of October 7th, that I understood how persecuted we've been, how persecuted, and how, nobody cared that the Jews died. That's weird. We care when people die, and nobody cared. It was deafening, it was awakening, it was horrifying. And it made me understand for the first time really how important it is to have a Jewish state when I never wanted one. So I also just want to notice how our actions reap the opposite of what we would want. If we took care of everyone, maybe they wouldn't need a state. If we're against them, they need an army, they need a state. But that army, my loves, is a huge extension of your own army. So I remember being in a Not in Our Name rally, railing against the American government. You will not enter Afghanistan, not in our name, no. Not all Muslims are this way, we were not in our name, right? And then all of a sudden there was a big sign that was just bunk, anti-Israel. It was just, Israel should not exist. It wasn't against the Israeli government. It wasn't against the policies. It was against a people. It was against a whole place. It was against the possibility of safety for a people, right? It was without regard that, of course, all people need to be safe. So here we are, loves. Here we are. These people, the Palestinian people, the Israeli people need safety. A two-state solution in a land that they are both indigenous to, this land of Palestine, that Jews and Arabs are indigenous to, Jews and Muslims, Israel and Islam, right? It's a two-state solution. The word Palestinian is important to mark who came from this land, and it is quite new. It is not that Palestine produced Palestinians, and where the heck are these Jews coming from? We are all brothers and sisters, my loves. The Jews and the Muslims, Islam and Israel. We are of Abraham together, Ishmael and Isaac. So please understand this. Open the mind beyond the dual. We want to end the dual. So wipe out that duality. See that no lives should be lost. The Israeli government is doing something horrifying right now. And Israelis deserve to live just like Gazans deserve to live. We are one. We are one. We are one. Love you. Thank you. Thank you for making your plot of land, that is your body, wiping the evil, the outrage, the violence out from inside of you, and therefore making the whole body a better place, a healthier place, the one body we are.